you an esports fan? Prove your knowledge and start winning cash on Alpha Draft Fantasy Esports. This year, we'll pay out over $5 million in prizes to over 50,000 esports fans every single week. To play, first select from hundreds of contests from the hottest esports. Then, choose your team of pros and watch their stats update in real time during games. Right now, we'll match every dollar you deposit up to $250. What are you waiting for? Redeem your deposit bonus and play Alpha Draft now.
Welcome everyone to the RGN. Oh, I almost got messed up considering our overlay was a little bit messed up there. I almost followed suit with it. RGN Brazilian Open. That is currently what we're going live for here. We got ToTheTop versus Die Gaming. And at least for Die, they were actually underneath a different name. My understanding is AGT is what they were underneath when they were at the Golden Chance. Both teams making it to that LAN event. As we're going to see Die actually go for a quick B-side execute here. Cash going to be map number 1. And again, Die on this T side. Finding a lot of frags as they enter into the bomb side. Finally, Herc able to return. One more for the CT side as well. So they're going to have a 3v3 trying to retake in. And DYX goes down inside of Checkered. We got Herc coming in from Heaven. He does have a teammate below. Trying to make it work from CT spawn. He's got a kit and a Tech 9 to note, so definitely has the weaponry to be able to get this done, but very quickly we see the post plan of Die works out in their favor, and got right into that very quickly. By the way, I'm Sprawl by my side, the one and only Hano. How's it going, buddy?
It's good. I'm excited to watch this. I haven't seen either of these teams actually play, so curious to see how the Brazilians do it.
Yeah, no, it will be pretty interesting. Again, we've seen some pretty awesome talent coming out of there now. The Luminosity lineup. They were under Kaboom, I think, when they first came out of Brazil, and then I went to Keystars now under Luminosity, and then we had that Golden Chance again, what I was referring to, where these teams both making it into the top 4, but I don't believe they made it into the actual finals. So again, I apologize for not having those results ready at hand, but again, I think this is going to be a pretty interesting one. And Die, they do find the first round on their map choice. I'm just trying to figure out which. Yeah, Die picked this map, so hence their T side start. Pretty understandable there, as you get to choose sides if you don't choose the map. Looks like Die is going to go for a pretty slow A play, and I actually like this, although they don't really have a read on if someone's flanking from maybe the B side of things, which could come into the equation. But as for the slow play, I think this is a good way to approach their anti-eco.
It's kind of curious that they're doing it without anybody towards B at all. If they're going to go fast route, I can understand that, but that gives a lot of the time for the CTs, and they're going to take this A site here with 3 CTs actually stacked up, and 4 actually.
And we do see one frag going the CT's way. Actually, 2. Knight with the CZ75 making it work, so all of a sudden we got a player advantage to the CT side. We got Kenchex and Tatazin trying to make it work here, so they will take down DYX. Knight and Herc still alive and well to deal with, though, inside of the bomb site itself. Both working towards Red Box, and we will see one player make it out towards Fork, and actually, I didn't recognize that his teammate went down. Tatazin was actually in a 1v2 there. My mistake, as nonetheless, he gets the frags and secures the round. Pretty scary one, but it was a forced up round from the CT half.
If you're going to just have a fast A strat, or a fast A execute, I don't see why you just wouldn't do it up the beginning of the round. I mean, if you're searching for players, that's one thing, but they didn't actually search on the other half of the map, and they allowed the CTs to potentially push through B, and then call it to their other teammates and say, hey, stack A, nothing B, let's put 4 towards A and put 1 sunroom and go from there. And luckily, they did pick up the round, but at an extremely costly round. The 4 of them died, and we had 1 AK left at the end of the round, so I don't see why they just didn't do the fast strat to begin with and don't let the CTs rotate.
Yeah, I would have to agree. Leaving a big opportunity for the CT side to gain in the information game. But we do see Rafa coming through into A. Sees Squeaky Door open, and there was a little bit of an engagement there earlier on in the round. So blindsides one of those CTs, and kind of stuck in middle here. We've got Herc with 6 hit points now. He's going to be further tagged up. And the remaining CTs now towards B. Doesn't look like they're going to be able to get anything done here. We'll see. Kinzen tries to make something work from the B bomb site, but being that they force spot in the last round, spent everything that they wanted to, they had to go default pistols in that round. So this one, they get rifles on the field, but it is a bit of an ill-equipped buy, and that's usually what you see after that second round force buy.
The CTs don't have many nades at all. They have 3 smoke grenades and 1 flash. I would like to see a 2-1-2 setup with a possible push, maybe like a flash push or something towards A main, because they had the lack of nades. When you don't have Molotovs or smoke grenades in A site, it's extremely difficult to hold that if the teams do an A execute.
And we are going to see up in vents Knight holding towards middle. Actually stack 3 towards A here on the CT side, and they leave middle open minus, again, Knight inside of the vents. So an interesting look for them. Means you got a very strong A bomb site. And you know what? Knight can actually shift back towards B if he does need to help out. Pinzan still inside of the site itself. So Dai, this is kind of their first opportunity to, yeah, they took pistol. Those eco rounds thereafter would be huge for them to take the first rifle round as well. And we do see Kenchex opening up Squeaky. Adds a little bit of noise there as actually going to try and spam into the bomb site itself. Not finding any lucky shot through as of yet, though. And they do smoke out. That's Rafa with that op in hand. He smokes towards Fork and covers them from truck side. Up above, we see DYX. That's the exact kind of caught off guard scenario he's looking for, as Rafa not able to get that flick in time. Knight onto Floyer. Now we see man advantage to the CT side. They're going to try and late execute. Just 20 seconds left. Make something work on A here. But they do have 1 Molotov to work with. It goes towards... Oh, it actually goes directly into a smoke. So that didn't work out so well. And you see Kenchex get 1. Actually gets a second one as well. So 2 on... Or rather, 1 on 3. He plants in default. He at least gets the bomb set, but his time very limited. We saw multiple CTs encroaching around his position. So first CT round, and doing so without a lot of equipment. That's good news for them. 3 left alive, so they can drop their teammates as well.
I think 2 of the terrorists kind of executed a little bit early there before the smoke grenades went off, and that might have been the cause as to why that strat didn't work out for them. But good hold by the CTs. The biggest portion of that is that 3 people stayed alive, so 3 can buy for 2. They're going to drop M4s for their teammates, and they should be well equipped here on this round. And we're going to see what we're going to do with this op. What kind of spawn does he actually have? He has a mediocre spawn, so maybe he'll just... he's going to head towards B. So another 2-1-2 setup here. And the Opera's going to pick aggressively on this B connector and see if he can find an easy frag. And there it is.
And there it is. E-dash goes down. Plenty frag here for the CT side. See Rafa interested in grabbing that rifle towards B. So we will have an op to play around with. And Kenchex actually furthering some success that he had in that last round. Towards Squeaky, does find 1. Covini goes down. I believe I'm saying that correctly. I hope so. Again, if there's any butchering of names, I do apologize. I'm pretty bad at that kind of pronunciation. As, again, we will see slow play from the Dai players. They've got 1 player up on boost. That's Rafa, looking for a middle pick. No one looking towards B, and they are down a player, so maybe that's why they're not having anybody focused towards there. But once again, the opportunity, in theory, is there. The B side is quite open. But it doesn't look like the CTs will take any advantage in that regard. Not getting aggressive. They do force their way onto A here on the T side. TYX, really nice cheeky position there. Moves up towards Squeaky, finds 2 for himself. Knight with 1 as well. Kenchex once again getting a double before going down. Gonna get a bomb plant as well, as similar situation to the last round, only maybe even closer. He does find 1 more, but Knight will take him down from the forklift area. So they do a lot of damage. 3 players brought down, but another CT side round means that we should be seeing an eco for the Dai crew.
The execute was a little bit better there as far as timing goes. They did have the Molotov quad. They just got caught off by the guy underneath AC. I think he got a double kill there. And when you start off 4v4 and that guy gets a double, turns quickly into a 4v2. We're going to see an eco out of the terrace here with a fast B strat. I like this. If they notice that the Opera's playing B, why not rush him? And Pinza is actually going to say, yeah, I'm not going to fall for that. And he's going to play passive with the op. So good call by him as well.
Yeah, really nice read on the situation from him. And instead it's Knight that's going to take off 1 head as of now. Can he get any more done? He's actually heavily tagged here in Pinzen. Not able to get anything done from the CT side of things. So bomb's been set. 4 on 5 here. Got Kenchex and Floyer working towards vents, but ooh, they will get 1 as they come out of the vents, the CT side, and quickly we actually see a 2-on-2. Pinzan finally gets his frag, but Rafa's still up inside a CT spawn, and They're not weary to this. Oh, sticking the bomb, though. Pinzen with 1 second remaining, and actually DYX takes down Rafa in the process, so it doesn't come down to him defusing the bomb. Great round for TTT, considering there was a 5-man take into the bomb site. They did a pretty decent job, again, considering the fact that they had some armor and tech nines in that post plant.
Absolutely. They got the bomb down. They killed 3 players. I'd consider that successful on a T-side eco round. Well, half eco. But I don't agree with this buy, though. I don't think that I like 2 Galils and 2 AKs when it's only 3-3. If you were struggling for rounds, possibly. But we're going to see a quick mid coming out.
And we'll see how this works out. The only thing I can think of is they're keeping the economy a little bit low. You can see the CT side is right around the same amount, but that's basically a risk that they're taking. They're hoping to keep it low, although they would have a little bit better weaponry in the next. Lots of damage done, though, as we see actually the CT side coming out on top towards middle, and the bomb is down in no man's land, as we did have a technical hiccup for a moment there, but looks like we're good. Tata's in, lurks up, does retrieve the bomb. He's towards vents. We can see that Maydash, he has complete control of B. So he's just like, hey man, anytime you can make it over here, I will be waiting. Don't you worry. So Tatazen, he does head through the vents. And still no read here from the CT side that it could be a B side play. This is very interesting that they wouldn't, through kind of process of elimination of where they've cleared out, now finally heading towards B. This is very interesting stuff, but again, they will get the bomb set over towards the back of site. It is a checkered plant, but no one actually residing in checkered, both in sight currently. And actually, we see DYX come from the checkered area, takes down the first. So Tatazen, he needs to take some 1v1s, and oof, he takes the first one, but he can't secure it. So it will be another CT-sided round. Pretty good situation, considering the spot they were put in for the Die side, but can't secure it in the end.
And then they get round bonus again. And they're also going to get bomb plant again as well, so they're going to buy up another time here. They're not going to have enough money for an op, but I don't think that the op has been doing too well for them, so they might not pick it up even if they had the choice. And we are going to see an op coming out of Pinza, and he doesn't have a very good spawn, so maybe he'll just go back to his default B setup that he has, and that's the direction that he is going here. So he's going to pick aggressively while his teammate gets closer to vents. I like that, so that he can rotate up to mid if need be, and help his mid teammate up.
And they're actually going to boost him up here. He's got a huge opportunity if he peeks out wide, and he does spot out Kenshek's, but Kenshek's capitalizing on his peek there. Goes down to 10 hit points, but finds the better end of that duel in the end, and it looks like that will cue them to go towards B, and I like the play. They know that there's probably just going to be the one op there, throw numbers in his direction, and yeah, Pinzan gets one. That's going to be the only one, and they got a man advantage here as looking to get the bomb set. They leave Rafa inside of checkered. Actually, Tata's in towards B main. He spots out DYX coming from main as well. So they already have intel on one location and 2 frags simultaneously coming in. It's Covini left, 1v4, and yeah, I think he's wise to save here. You see he's got 4750 in his bank account, and we're going to see, obviously, the first round that they've lost in a while. Not a lot of money coming in for the loss bonus, and they should actually have a little bit to play around with. He'll probably drop his weapon. We'll see Pinzan move up to pretty low, to be honest with you, probably just under 4K, 4,300 in DYX. I think they might actually force buy here to keep things interesting. I'm not certain. What would you read?
No, I agree. They're going to probably force. Somebody might have to have a CZ, but there's definitely enough money to drop at least 4 rifles. Let's see if they're actually going to do it. And I don't know. It doesn't actually look like it. Looks like they're going to go for the save. But they did have enough money to buy 4 rifles and 1 CZ or 1 5.7.
If we were watching NACS, that would have been a force buy like 90% of the time. Let's be serious about it. Like, usually we see just like that battle for momentum, and they're just not willing to give it up. So, quite honestly, a bit of a disciplined play from ToTheTop guys in that they will want to receive a little bit more for their next buy. That being said, considering the T-side economy, 3 of those players losing the round still probably would get a buy out of the next one. I think you could make an argument either way, but they do decide to instead go with the safer route, getting a little bit better weaponry, and they actually go for a pretty pushed up play inside of a main, but it doesn't look like it's going to work out. They did get a decent amount of damage on that first player peeking in, and actually Herc will find one for himself. Makes it away towards Fork as well as they're coming around his position, but we can see from Truck Covini, that's where he comes into the equation, gets one. that's going to be the only one. So they get 2 frags out of it, but now the T-side economy really grows to get not out of control, but they start to have that luxury to fall back on.
I would have much rather seen them buy last round, the CTs to buy last round, because like you said, the terrorists won 1 round and they're gonna lose their money bonus if they lose the next. So it's actually worth it to buy up and see if you can win that round. And if you do, then terrorists have to save twice more. So I think it would have been worth it if they picked up that round. And now they're like in a half buy, not a half buy, but they have to pick up 2 Famuses at least here. And Knight with the op needs to probably make an info play, and he does pick up one of the players on the terrorist side, so evens it up at 4v4. And we have one guy who actually pushed up an A as well, but his teammate gets taken down in door, or close to door.
And I spam through there from Kenshix. He's been a thorn in the side in that squeaky door position for pretty much the CT half thus far. And 2-player advantage to the T side. They've got some presence towards middle here. Actually, it's only Rafa. And they actually do lose Kenshek, so towards Squeaky, eventually they find that spam frag, and that certainly was a spam frag as that door was completely shut. Flare, though, takes down DYX. I think, I'm not going to lie, I missed that. Was he pushed into A main when he lost that fight?
He was, yep, and then he got traded.
I'm not really sure why. What are you thinking about that play? Like, you're already in an advantageous position. I'm not sure why he wanted to go for an aggressive play, but nonetheless, we'll see the bomb being set at B. Got an alright post plan. Rafa sends a Molotov towards vents, and that really is going to cause a bad time here for Herc. He basically needs to rotate out or just wait for this, and obviously time is of the essence. Knight does have a kid, so it means that they've got a little bit more time, but oh, he goes down Rafa with a nice op shot. He finds out that coming out of checkered is Herc, and Flare doesn't initially get that refrag, but posts up in a way that as soon as he comes around the corner, he will be able to get that damage dealt. So Die moving up to 6 rounds here on the CT side. They are still with a broken economy.
I like the aggressive push into A main, but I think it got to a point where he was just stuck there regardless, so he kind of had to do like a one and done deal. But his teammate was spamming the other terrorists in door, so maybe he just realized, you know, if one's door, maybe 1 or 2 will come A main, I can pick up a frag on 1 or both of them. He only ended up getting 1 and got traded off, which isn't the best for CT side, obviously. You don't want to trade 1 for 1. It's not going to be beneficial to you, but position-wise, maybe good for earlier on, and he got stuck there because he couldn't get out. But sometimes you get 1 or 2 kills there. Sometimes you get more than that if you surprise the terrorists, but the terrorists weren't surprised in the situation and traded it.
Interesting stuff as we see pretty standard round from the CT side in this eco, and not gonna lie, that usually doesn't result in good things, but Cavini does come up with 1 towards quad. Knight not able to get anything done for himself. Rafa onto DYX, and this is looking like pretty close to a flawless round. They've lost 1 player, but Pinzan not able to get anything else done. So yeah, only 1 player dropped. Economy of the T side really looking strong at the moment. You can see 2 players post buy at over 7,000. One of them might drop. No, actually, Kenshix, he is an independent man. Will buy himself. He does drop down to $0, but again, still a lot of money in the economy there for the T side. They're sitting pretty, to be honest.
The CTs are playing way too static. They're playing a 2-1-2 over and over again, and they're not getting aggressive on A. They're not getting aggressive on B. When they have the op, they get sort of aggressive. I mean, they peek the normal angle on B that you have to pick. But other than that, they really haven't done anything.
Sorry to cut you off, but that was at least cool. Like, there's actually a lot of teams that struggle with that kind of run boost, so the fact that they were able to make that work, that was pretty fantastic. Actually, Covini coming up big here. He gets quite a few damage depth, finally finishes 2 of them right below. I didn't think he recognized Flare was lurking underneath his boost there, but yeah, interesting play, and it does result in 2 frags and a pretty good defense.
That's something the CTs needed to do. They changed it up. They did something a little bit different with that boost. They pick up 2 kills by him being up there and turned it into a 3v2 situation. They just need to not give these Ts any picks whatsoever, and they just need to play the info game here.
Yeah, Flare gonna get sent down to 10 hit points, and like you were stating, yeah, they would really like to keep 3 alive. Their economy is not looking hot. So 3 will be able to drop to 2. 2 not able to drop for 3. So we'll see that come into play at the end of this round, again determined by if the Ts get any more frags here. They are still trying to work the A side play. Flare are going to head out towards Fork So Herc, at least the first one to the situation, it's actually, yeah, Herc speaking of. Saw Knight spam and then someone die. I was like, how did he? No, that was Herc. Able to get that done, and Rafa just going to save this AWP. That's a good read on the situation. He's got some players, again, 7,400, 7,700 on 2 of them. If he keeps this op in play, they will have a very good buy in the next with that op being the most expensive of the weaponry on top. So we will see TTT grab their 5th. This is looking like a pretty even first half.
I like the way Herc played in the middle of site. He didn't play quad. He didn't play anywhere he can get pinned down or picked. His teammate was playing short or cat. He was able to help him out coming up highway. So good positioning by him. I mean, he didn't let himself get pinned down. He wasn't any opportunity to give the terrorists any picks, and perfect play by him. And the other CTs obviously play a little bit passive too. But as far as Herc goes, good play.
Yeah, so we did see again in that last round the Shroud boost, as it's been coined, utilized to full effect. And now, do they provide any more aggression? Again, moving into that round, you were highlighting kind of the lack thereof. Actually, we're going to hold that thought. Knight, making things work. He's played this vent position before, but didn't have the same kind of success that we're seeing in this round here. Triple kill. He takes down Kenchex as well. And we're going to see Maydash head through B main. Rafa still inside of mid warehouse. The bomb is down in no man's land, and Knight actually takes that shot as his cue to peek. Almost takes on Rafa. Really cool stuff there. You have a small split second after that op shot comes in that you're safe to kind of peek and hopefully catch him off guard before he can get his bearings underneath him. And actually some spam through that the metal wall there. And Rafa, you can see a little bit disoriented because of it. And he will go down to Pinzan in the end. Great round for the TTT side. It's good that they keep 5 alive, but at this point we are reaching kind of the end of the half.
I don't like the mid-round. Well, okay, so as a terrorist team on Cash, I feel like there's 2 ways you can go about taking mid. Extremely quickly, so the CTs can't set up, or extremely slow, where you Molotov vents, you do crisscross smokes, or you do a highway smoke, or you smoke off Z connector. And I feel like I really dislike the whole taking mid later on in the round, but using no nades at all. And they weren't short on nades, so I'm not sure why they took it later without those useful nades. Yeah,
interesting that you note that. Maybe back to the drawing board in some regards, as not that it's going to make a difference here in map number 1, as we got 1 more round, unless they can make that adjustment for this final round of the first half. But that doesn't at least trying to get a bomb plant. So coming into this next round, they get a little bit more to play with here, and might be able to do so if he takes down DYX, but no, he was on the kind of vulnerable side of Fork, so peeking out from Truck. Herc takes him down 7-7, and again, very close score line. This is usually the kind of score that we paint on a standard score line or teams that are fairly even on this map. 8-7 for maybe the CT side. So honestly, both teams off to a pretty darn good start. No one clearly in the lead, at least in my eyes.
I really hope they do a fast mid here. I really, really do. Because they noticed the CTs, actually the CTs are playing 3 mid. The first round they played 3 mid here. And that kind of counters that quick mid. So let's see if
they're going for a boost as well. Knight, oh, he misses the jump though. And oh boy, Knight, does he still get it? He does get 1. DYX with 1 as well, but that middle boost just taking forever, as they just couldn't get that jump sorted out. And actually I didn't recognize the bomb is down underneath the boost. Does look like they're going to be able to grab it. ToTheTop, are you gonna go over there and grab it, man? Someone's gonna have to, unless Kenchex is gonna drop off the roof. Ooh, Govini, rest in pieces, my friend. He will peek from the Z connector area. An advantage gain for the T side. Again, they still haven't grabbed the bomb though, so still advantage to. Oh, if Pinzan peeks out wide here, he has a huge, pardon the pun, opportunity on the situation. But no, he will head back towards B, and they're just going to play 1 at each bomb site. And obviously, there's a couple ways you could play it, 2 on each or 1 on either. And what are you thinking here, Hano? Do you like this setup?
Yeah, if you have an Opera in B, you can hold it down. I'm still thinking about why the CT peeked out a Z connector with a flashbang. Pretty much his flashbang said, hey, I'm here. I realize that you guys already took middle, but I'm going to peek anyway, and I think that's silly.
Yeah, no, I would have to agree, as we are going to see. Actually, Herc, I thought he'd at least get that one on ToTheTop, but not going to be the case, as he was on the back pedal. So we will see 8-7 at the half. Die with 1 round advantage. taking the half, moving into their CT side. And again, this is Dai's map choice. So the next map in this best of 3 is ToTheTop's map choice, which is Dust 2, and Inferno is there if we need it. And again, guys, just to give you a general overview, if you're just tuning in, of what the RGN Brazilian Open is, it's basically a $2,000 open tournament. And yeah, we're basically allowing, it's open, so anybody can enter. First place would be able to secure $1,000, second place $600, and third place $400. So trying to just kind of provide a little bit more in terms of competition to the Brazilian team. So hopefully you guys enjoy, and again, I think we're going to get some really good matches out of it. And this is the first match of many. There's a lot of teams that signed up. I'm not 100% certain, honestly, how many in total, but it was a lot. I was just looking at the bracket there. But here we go. Dai now on their CT side. Again, this is their map choice, so I would love to grab this second pistol round here. As you can look at the equipment, not a lot of nades on the CT side. And what do you think the situation is going to be for either side here?
Seeing a smoke molly and 4 armor, now that I know they're going towards A, more than likely you're going to smoke off probably forklift and then molly quad. I think that's going to be the case with 2, 3 going outdoor, which is a little bit different. But I mean, with the smoke molly, I guess you could argue that they could go B as well, smoke off B and then molly. But it's going to be this A push. They're going to smoke off fork and molly quad.
Here we go, as Kenshex does get the first blood. Gets dropped immediately thereafter. Rafa still alive and well at the forklift. And actually, we see Meidaj pushes up and takes down the bomb planter. So maybe a little bit too soon for that plant to come in, but really quickly back the other direction. DYX and Herc combined to find 2. Fleur coming up from behind. He's going to be very critical element here, but he does let one go. Herc does get Goosh down to 20, but simultaneous frags coming from the T side. DYX and Knight both finishing their opponents. And nice pistol round for the T side, as again, I thought that they were going to have some problems after their original bomb planter goes down. But thereafter, it was all going in their direction.
Sometimes I see a lot of the professional teams actually stack 3 to 4 B. B is the harder site to retake. So the first half, we saw the T's just full on rush B, take the site and hold down the site. And I don't know, most teams like Liquid, they do it pretty well, where they'll push maybe 2 or 3, possibly 4 towards B and push through. And they'll have one guy sit truck and kind of spot and wait for terrorists to come out. Because if you sit truck, it's pretty easy for you to pop heads with that USB coming across. But we saw a pretty standard pistol round from the CT's last, the pistol round last round.
We'll see Kenshex attempting to push up Squeaky. Does go down. Deals a lot of damage. Yeah, DYX got dealt a lot of damage. I think Kovini was in his own skirmish towards B, and Fleur actually does finish it. So a nice pickup here, as we'll see a 4-on-4. He gets an SMG for his effort, as well. As you can see, CT's taking this round seriously. They do have armor on everyone, and DYX does get dropped. Meidaj will find that one with a scout, but goes down thereafter. Rafa going to follow. Fleur and Tatazin left up to try and make something work. Fleur from middle does drop Pinzan. They're going to get the bomb set here at A, and oh, if he could get that player on the cross, that would have been critical. Not able to do so, but the call-out was made that he has entered the site. Just trying to get that player who just planted the bomb, but Knight peeks out from A main, and they will secure the second round after pistol, albeit, once again, we see that second round after pistol being a very expensive one for the T side.
I like the scout by the CT. I'm not sure why they stacked so many people in the A site with him, though. Typically, you'll see one person jump scouting in the back of quad. Once you get boosted up on that little like quarter wall, you can jump peek over quad into A main and kind of spot it. Most teams don't actually play that many people in A. There's a tag and pistol strategy. Obviously, you tag them with the scout and one pistol them after with the 5.7 or 250. But most of the time, the pistols are either mid or stacked B. So quite common, you'll see like 4 people stack B with the one person in A with the scout, but CTs for some reason had it kind of the opposite, and I don't know how I feel about it. I think that if you're going to play that scout, let him tag as many people as possible, and then you retake the site, right, because they're going to be so low. But
yeah. Interesting, very interesting. As moving into this round, obviously the consequence of losing that force that you were just highlighting would be the default pistols coming into this one. But I actually have seen a lot of times where sometimes the default pistols can actually work wonders, and then occasionally you create that chaotic environment and crazy things can happen. This round, though, Knight will take down one. Tat is in with one of his own and actually gets a Galil as well. Going for the spray and does drop Pinzan. Buys his teammates a little bit of time as well as we see Hurt get sent down to 9 hit points. And Rafa rather, he's going to dink another player as well. So 2 are very low and DYX is nowhere to be found. Finally, he makes it in towards B main, but Rafa has 2 players, 1 hit away from dead with this USPS. And he is fairly lucky. The USP fairly accurate, but ooh, he tries to get the fadeaway shot and not able to take anyone with him. So that's going to be the 10th double digits here for the T side into the top. As yeah, they got a 2-round advantage, but Die coming into the rifle round.
No ops on the CT side here either, so you can do a couple setups. You can do the 2-1-2 with the rifle playing passive mid, or you can do the 1-3-1 with a rifle being passive A and a rifle B passive B, but it's going to be a 2-1-2, which I think is probably the safest bet. Typically, if you do a 1-3-1, you want to have an op on either A or B peeking aggressively.
We'll see Pinzan with an op currently. He does peek towards middle for a moment, and Knight actually is already boosted and dropped down a little cubby here. And it's interesting that he plays the counter to his spot on the CT side. Knight was in that vent a heck of a lot on the CT side of things, and now he's playing basically the spot that Kenchex was able to take him out of commission from time to time when Kenchex wasn't working squeaky, that is. But again, cool to note that he would counter his own position. You kind of know how that player might want to play things, but they do further up in middle. And it's going to be DYX towards Squeaky. Spots out Flare, somehow makes that work. Got a lot of damage dealt to him before he finally found that headshot, but nonetheless survives with 6 hit points, and he's going to flash towards A. Out of the Squeaky door, there is a player at fence currently, and they do have Rafa towards truck as well. DYX goes down, but Knight did cross from highway. So they do have one player to worry about here. Does he recognize there's a player at quad? He does. And obviously, because Dix died to him, and Kovini actually and Herc follow up with 2 more frags. Tadazin, got a feeling he's just going to be on the save here, as quite honestly, it's very hard to save on this map, especially if they're on the hunt. That being said, with the T side of Kami, I don't know if they'll go hunting for it. It does look like Kovini rather, is interested though. So Dai going to be going down another round, and that's not a good start to their CT half.
Well, they're definitely going to get their pitchforks and chase after him. But round-wise, the terrorists, they did the crisscross smokes mid, took mid control, and they pinched on A. And the guy who went door actually threw himself a catwalk smoke so that he can't get peeked from upper and lower. And then he realized that the guy was playing forklift, picked off him. And then once you pick off one guy in A, obviously there's one more left, and they pinched up Cat from there. So once you pinch up from Cat, you can actually see the backside of quad, giving your A player, as a terrorist, your terrorist A player, a little bit more information as to where he can be or the CT can be. So it's either going to be hiding in the back of sight near the box, or he's going to be hiding on the left side of quad. And sometimes you can flush him out with a molly, or flush him out with a smoke grenade as well. So good take by them. But that's what I was talking about on the other half, is that when you're going to take mid, either do it extremely quickly or use those smokes and utility nades to your advantage.
Round 20 now underway. We see Kovini heading towards B main. Pretty default play from ToTheTop as they just kind of spread out across the map. Kovini working Sunroom. He does get dinked up, so they're playing against an eco round of sorts. Again, Tata's in with an M4 in hand. Flare actually did decide to go with a vest and a helmet, so that will put him down to 1600, although again they're going to have 5 rounds with the loss bonus if they drop this round. Should be alright. And actually Flare drops Knight as they try and push through their own smokes in middle, and this is one way to go about it. You can try and flash your way through, but Flare with yet another one, and finally he goes down. Herc, the credit for both those middle frags. DYX on a Ralph as well, but Kenchex able to trade and now has an AK for his effort. Looks like he's going to play Ring Around the Rosie. Herc with, again, very little hit points, goes down, and Pinzan does land the shot. He's got a one-on-one here, as this would mean a lot if the CTs can finally pick up their first round, and Tadazin does have the task to do so. Pinzan swaps up to an AK-47, and it's very wise to the fact that it could be highway that Tadazin would be deciding to approach from. So Pinzan, he plants in not the most most orthodox of position. It's not the default plant spot, but it is still a spot where he's not going to be able to watch it from A main, for example. So he stays at quad. Tatazen without a kit. Now, where does he expect him to be? He's going to notice it's not an A main plant. So he checks the plant, and he instantly laters Pinzan. My God. Tatazen, I thought you'd get a read on the situation, but not like a read like that. That was just dirty. Dai going to find their 9th round as Tatazen sticks that full 10 seconds to defuse. And, oh boy, that was a hell of a 1v1 clutch.
These guys are deadly with pistols. I mean, they busted out the CZs, they busted out the 5.7s, and almost every time one of the terrorists got dinked. I think almost 3 of them got dinked and then traded off right after. So CT is great play by them with pistols, and they kind of did. The guy middle, I like. He played white box or Xbox, whatever you want to call it, on Cat, and the Molotov was thrown. He went right through the Molotov and picked up like a dink and a half on the guy's. No, he picked up a kill on the guy Vent, and then he dinked on the player as well. So good ballsy play by him, kind of catch him off guard a little bit. And again, good piss around by them. 3 ops on CT. What is going on?
Yeah, this is something that I'm not going to lie, until you just pointed out, I did not recognize that was the case. I don't know if I agree with this. If they're all monsters with the op, maybe it'll work, but heading towards A, one of the ops already taken out of commission, and Rafa will find one for himself. We see that positioning for the op was kind of right back at red box. I don't know, considering the smokes coming in, it's a very difficult position to play in. He actually was taken down by a player that hopped up over red box. So now they're going to save these 2 AWPs, but oh man, to the top. I wouldn't say they were gifted that round, as 3 ops are still terrifying in some regard, as you got 3 players capable of taking down people in one shot. But if you can deal with them appropriately, and that A-smoke strat doing pretty much just that, it actually turns into a pretty straightforward round.
Yeah, they flushed out the ops. I mean, the ops weren't together. They had one guy opping Z, one guy opping B, and one guy opping A. I wouldn't say it's a... If there is a setup to have, obviously you want to spread out the ops, but yeah, that fast A strat definitely pinned those guys down in sight, and they took that extremely quickly. But the opera truck didn't have any support flashes or support nades. Typically, if you have a rifle or mid, you can flash in front of red, kind of slow down the rush a little bit, maybe throw a Molotov door and slow it down there as well, but it just didn't happen. So we're going to see a Deagle, 2 ops, again, obviously the ones that they saved. It's taken down by Pinza, so Rafa losing that green gun there. Maybe the guy with the Deagle will go snag that.
Yeah, I think that would be not a bad idea. Floyer being the one we're talking about here. He's actually currently going for the Shroud boost with his teammate. They drop a smoke for it this time, and Pinzan actually, I'm not sure if that was a shot for them going for the boost, or if that was for... No, it was... If they boosted, like, in A main, utilizing that smoke, that was what that shot was for. So nonetheless, that boost still hasn't been figured out, and Covini actually finds one towards B as Knight lurks up from highway, and that's a pretty hard counter. If you leave middle open and they come up highway, they are going to see that person in Shroud boost so easily. They are a sitting duck in that regard. So they do exactly that, and this is looking like a flawless one from the ToTheTop guys. Just the one green weapon left, the op in play, and gotta believe he just wants to save this for the next round. But the op's not really working out here for the Dai side, and considering they had the 3 ops on the field, you would think at least one of them is going to be fairly hot with them at the point, and obviously if they were hitting shots, it'd be a different story, but they just haven't really been utilizing these ops to their full effect. And again, I question why they would bring out 3 if they don't have someone that's really, at least one player that's on point with them at the moment, as we saw Pinzan's doing some big things against their oppers.
Maybe it's that frustration aspect of, you were an opper in first couple seasons of Go. You pick up that rifle and you're like, I'm not getting any kills, I'm getting an op.
Right,
so
maybe, just kind of change it up. Yeah. Could maybe. Be. It definitely could be that, considering like this scoreline that we're seeing at the top, it is fairly close, but this half hasn't been close. Not at all. There's been one CT-sided round. So I definitely could see that coming into play.
I really hope that they get aggressive with the op and just try to get a pick somewhere. But if the terrorists are smart, they'll play really slow. And he's going to do that, and I really like this play by him pushing door.
And perfect. He does find it. TYX. Looked like he was ready potentially for a play there, but maybe not the op out of all the weaponry that he would come in contact with. So the early pick to the CT side, the aggression works out. Now, how do they hold from here on out? As that pick did not result in anybody able to pick up a weapon, so that's one thing to note. Maybe way later on, but I still doubt it, as it's fairly far behind enemy lines. They're looking for a B-side split, though. We can see that this is actually a decent situation. Ooh, we see the op go down. So now it's taken out of the equation. Pinzan, once again, showing his worth. They are entering into a site where there's still 2 players inside. It doesn't look like it matters, though, as Rafa actually does find one in an AK. Starts to spray and gets a second one. So Kensheks, he finds his way into the bomb site. Oh, he tries to utilize the rest of the bullets of that AK. He almost takes down Herc, but it's Pinzan from Checkered. Gets him in that headshot spot, and 14th round. To the top, looking to close this out. And again, Die, they find that opening pick, and not a bad round. If that's like a standard eco where you had just saved maybe that op and brought it in, obviously best case scenario is winning the round, but that was still pretty damaging. But at this point, Die really wants to just win rounds.
Ecos are only good if you, I mean, in this situation, ecos are only good if they're going to win the round because their gun rounds just aren't working. They're doing a ton of damage with their ecos, which is great, but it's not helping them on their gun rounds at all. It's unfortunate. But just to press on that, the way that they took B site that round, Steel has a video about this, and he cues it up perfectly, is that if you're going to smoke upper and lower, the first person in has to go headshot. If you go headshot, there's only one place for you to get shot from, it's the front of you. But if you start going in the middle of sight and you go up that ramp, you have to look to your left, you have to look behind the spam box in the very back of the site, and also to the right in default. So if you're going to take B and you have upper and lower smoked, the best thing to do for you is just to go right up to headshot and walk right up that alley and peek into sight.
Yeah, that's actually a very, very smart way to put it, as that puts you in a position where you're not as vulnerable to the rest of the spots, and you have a really good chance at taking them out, and again, yeah, keeps yourself in a really good position, not vulnerable to places you don't need to be in. Actually, as we're chatting about that, we do see the T side not able to get that round. It will be the CTs able to secure things, 2 on Rafa, 2 on Maydash, as moving into the late portions of this first map here. Round 25 about to go live. And that's good for Die. They finally put one on the board. They keep 4 alive. Although economy not as important at this point, as if they lose one, well, they still would be fighting for that tie point. So it still is there. You definitely, and on top of that, if you are winning rounds, you still want, if anybody dies, them to have everything that they require in the next. And Floyer actually pushes across these T-smokes. He does take down one, but the trade comes out as Kirk busts into middle and actually does take down one more, as Dash trying to work the side of that smoke. Rafa does find 2 for himself. Can he continue? DYX still close at headshot, gets hit through the ledge. Oh, just gonna send the nade towards him and gets him right underneath. That was some really nice play there. Herc last one up, as he does take down Rafa in a 1v2 here. He's got 16 hit points. You have another incendiary that they're going to drop in the back of sight. Herc will walk right into it. Sad times, as I don't think that was the way he wanted to go out, but it will be the way he does.
There's that hot op we're waiting for. Picks up that nice 3K, yeah. Hits a guy through the little ledge there, gives him a nice little nade as well. Good hold by him in a B side. That's what they need. They need to keep winning these rounds, but they need to keep winning them with a lot of people left, so they keep saving that money, like you said. If you're going to die, you want as much utility as you can. So there he goes. Okay, a little bit of a late buy. I was confused as to what Fleur was doing, or Flurry or whatever. Yeah,
right.
I'm not good with that.
It's an interesting name, that is for certain.
Videos.
Yeah, honestly, Maydash has been the hardest one for me as of yet in this match. But nonetheless, Kensheks. Ooh, we get a giant spray down Floyer. Gotta make it work as they try and make it out through Squeaky. And that's the downside with going for a Squeaky play. If they can catch you funneling out of that position, they're going to have a great time just spraying. In that case, it was an M4A1S, all 20 bullets just pumping lead into to his opponents, the T side coming out of that location.
It's big. If you have Molotovs, I mean, another reason to go on top of you there. Oh, that sounded weird. I'm so sorry. Oh
it's okay,
God.
You
know what I
meant,
right?
On top of me.
All right, all right. I'm out of here.
You're a
all right, so anyway,
nerd.
no, Molotov. You throw. We're gonna change something. You throw that Molotov on top of that squeaky door as well, and they're gonna funnel through that, and they're gonna have less HP as well. So grab that Molotov, and that's why Molotovs are so important, and smokes are so important. Not necessarily to stop strats, but to hold them off or delay the strats.
Yeah, no, certainly. And honestly, I think that incendiaries and Molotovs are something that it's made into the meta now in the last 6 to 8 months. It was something that at least in early go wasn't utilized that much. I still remember the times where we started seeing B bomb site on Inferno taken with full Molotovs and such, and how effective that was. And yeah, just to further the point, if you can utilize those creatively, you got a pretty good advantage for yourself. But to the top, they've got 2 rounds. If they win, they'll close things out, and Herc actually does take down Kensheks, but Tatazin and Floyer, they come up big as well. So they create a 2-on-2. Rafa and Tatazin, last one's up, and Rafa does peek out of highway. Nice Tech 9 frag as he catches Knight, moving up from that location. Herc, with 35 seconds, gonna opt to head back to B, and this is a pretty good read on the situation, as we can see both CTs at the moment focused towards A, and Rafa finally thinking that he should probably be on the move, and he's actually got a pretty good read here as Herc does make it into B. Smokes off towards CT spawn as well. Now, Rafa, does he wait for his teammate? Might be a wise play as he does send an incendiary and a nade in. Herc making it up to headshot here, and he's going to try and get cheeky. I like the way he's playing this, as he needs to create one-on-ones. Otherwise, it could be a bad day for him. And actually, he circles around them completely. And all of a sudden, this just got very interesting here. If you take down the first, and he does exactly that. Tatazin taps it, but gets off the bomb. Herc gonna listen for that exact noise, and I think he recognized that he's not on it. Peeks out wide, doesn't matter. Herc takes down Tatazin, and that'll be the 15th round. Big clutch there, 1v2 by Herc.
Perfect play by him. If it's a 2v1, just like you said, you got to turn that 2v1 into 2 1v1s. He heard the guy upper. That means that one guy's upper, the other guy's either going to go upper, he's going to go CT. If he goes upper, then he can sneak around CT just like he did. Perfect play by him. I really like that. If he kills the guy CT, then it turns into another 1v1. I mean, everything that he could have done there was beneficial to him, as far as splitting up the 2 CTs or even sneaking behind the 2 CTs. The situation that he put himself in was perfect.
Yeah, really well read there from Herc, and he's going to put his team at 15. So 1 round away from closing things out. Die with an all-right buy. Rafa is going to be a glass cannon in middle. You can see 3 rifles do make it onto the field. Maydash with the CZ75. And we've seen time and time again, even with the nerf that happened quite a while ago at this point. Other than it being like the IKEA pistol, it still is very, very powerful, especially at close range with its fire rate. And it was actually Fleur that opened up from highway with a nice round earlier in the half, but it's Knight. Takes down Fleur, speak of the devil, as he tries to make that highway play work. And I actually didn't see this. Kenshek's pushed up from Squeaky and gets a triple. I have no idea how I imagine he came through Squeaky, as we can see Pinzan is in A main right now, but what an aggressive play. And we were talking about it, or you were highlighting it previously, that they need to go with some more aggressive plays, and Kenshek's doing exactly that. Massive triple kill for himself, and now they got 30 seconds to deal with Kenshek's being on top of this bomb, as well as getting the bomb set. Now 20 seconds, and he's going to spot out Knight here. Goes for the duel, does Knight, as doesn't want to go for that plant, and 4K for Kenshek's beautiful play to steal the round.
The CT got aggressive last round as well, and I was almost going to bring this up, is that you need to be confident. Even if you got 2 rounds to lose, if you have 7 rounds to come back, and you're only 2 rounds to give up, how many times are you going to play the same 2-1-2 static setup, the safe setup, before the terrorists crack you? So it's going to be beneficial for the CTs to play aggressive at least a couple of those rounds and be confident. We're going to have a B rush here.
Yeah, here we go as Patterson. He's going to be tasked with Maydash to try and make that work, and oh boy, that really did work out. Patterson with a big triple kill, and Fleur, Maydash following it up, and we're 1 away from overtime here, and the first match of our Brazilian Open.
Very weak buy from the terrorists as well.
Yeah, they're gonna have Galils. That's pretty much it. We do see Pinzan with an AK in hand, but yeah, this is it right here. Round 30 is to the top. Gonna close out map number 1, or is Dada gonna take their map choice to overtime? It comes down to this, and just to further your statement on the whole aggressive. Instead of just playing standard and such, if you're playing to lose, you're not playing to win. There's no 2 ways about it. It's a much different mentality if you're scared to lose rather than playing confident to win, as you take very different risks and you move just much differently, competitively speaking. But here we go, a side take for all the marbles. To the top, they will find one on their way in. UIX burns to death, and the trades will go the T-side direction. So Maydash and Tatazin both has to try and retake it. Tatazin does find one with very interesting spray that actually worked out, as it's actually going to be Maydash. Again, struggling with that name towards Quad. He takes down Pinzan. So Herc, he's got it planted for him, but they drop. Oh, they botched the smoke. That's really bad news for them as they both have kids, and they're going to shoulder-to-shoulder stick side by side. Herc, he does make it into the smoke, and that could be checkmate. Maydash will tap it once more. Herc, does he go? He does go for the peek, and now Maydash, he should have barely enough time here, and he certainly does. Overtime. It wouldn't be RGN if we didn't have overtime in our first map of our first match of the Brazilian Open, right? It just has to go that way.
Yeah, it's a curse. I don't like it. It makes for a long night, but hey, I love Counter-Strike, so let's do it.
Right? This is turning out to be a really competitive match, and honestly a really exciting one as well. I wasn't certain what I would see coming into this. Again, didn't catch a lot of that Golden Chance tournament where both these teams did make it into at least the top 4 to make it to that LAN at Games Academy. But thus far, looking like a very competitive map number 1, and we are going live in overtime here. And I do want to let you guys know, I wanted to make a note of it at the start of the cast. Slipped my mind. We do have a Portuguese broadcast going on for this, so if you would rather listen to a Portuguese cast, feel free to go on over to azubu.tv/GoRGNTV3, as we got Beta over there casting his heart out, I am sure, and I'm sure he would love to have you watch. So again, Portuguese cast is over at azubu.tv/GoRGNTV3, as if you guys are new to overtime as well, we'll quickly go over the format of that, as these teams going to play out 3 rounds on either side, or in theory. It's the first team to make it to 19 here, as, again, with 6 rounds, whoever gets 4 rounds under their belt first. And they both start with $10,000, and you start on the side you just left off on. So, Die on the CT front, and the only time that you kind of see teams run out of money is on the CT front if you lose those first 2 rounds, especially if you get ops into play. Honestly, even if you don't, I think if you get full nade sets and rifles, like M4s and such, you will still be broke. If you lose those first 2, that 3rd round is going to be basically pistol armor. So you really don't want that to come into the equation. And being that this is a bit of a CT favored map, it means that the T rounds are worth even more, as you would love to get one of those under your belt start of overtime.
I almost want to see the CT op get aggressive again on door like he did a few rounds before, but he's just going to play a little bit more passive towards B and not take that risk. But T's butt up complete full nades, and then, like you said, T's don't really run out of money as much as the CTs do. That's true. That's for sure.
And we are going to see an A-side play. Fleur grouped up with his teammate Kenshix towards quad, but they're Molotov'd out. Actually, tons of mollies here. Going to force them basically off the bomb site, doing tons of damage already. And now from up over the top, it's ToTheTop. Perfect name for it, as we will see Fleur get 1 before going down. Rafa will get 1 as well, but that will be the extent of their success. Leaves everything up to these remaining CTs, and actually, Maydash goes down. It's Tatizin left, 1v3, as again, critical for the ToTheTop side. They would love to get this first T-side round. Tatizin does capitalize on Knight, but in a 1v2, I don't know. He's going to peek towards A mid, and he just sneezes. That was very difficult to cast when I needed to sneeze. Oh, Jesus. I don't think I've ever been put in, like, an end, like, 1v2 where I have to sneeze. That was exactly what that was, though. Oh, boy, that was difficult. Nonetheless, ToTheTop take the first T-side round.
ToTheTop seems to be more of a strat-heavy team, so I'm kind of curious why they picked Dust 2. I mean, Dust 2 is obviously like the pick and roll or pick and pug.
More of an A map. Yeah.
Yeah. So, but I like their strats. Obviously, they're coming out with a bunch of smokes, Molotovs. They have good stuff there. But I think the CTs, like I was saying, that the aggressive op going towards A door, how you break down these teams that have these heavy strats is that you need to go ahead and get aggressive and kill them before they can actually get into the strat. That's one way to do it anyway. And I think that if they did the aggressive door push, it might have helped them out a little bit more.
And in this round, we see a B-side take, as it is going to be Tatizin on top of the bomb site. Does find a spam spray onto the first one, but goes down thereafter. And I don't think Maydash even recognized there was a player that was side by side with him at that headshot area. So we will see the bomb being set here. And Rafa was looking interested in pushing that smoke. I like that he doesn't, and they actually might save here. They're going to, and this is exactly the situation I illustrated. If you lose those first 2 rounds, you have no money moving into the 3rd. You can take a look at the scoreboard here, if our producer can just bring it up. $400 on Tatizin. That is the most wealthy CT side player as of now. So it's definitely worth it to bring these into the next round, but To the Top getting 2 out of 3 on their T side already means that they are well on their way to their map number 1 victory here.
The CTs are going to be struggling, absolutely, and they don't have enough money to buy them FAMASs either. So it's going to be probably another aggressive push from the CTs so that, I mean, I keep pressing this aggressive and it's not like a broken record, but to be honest, if you get a pick with this aggressive op, then you can go pick yourself up an AK. So, why not?
Yeah.
Let's do it back.
True. Let's see if they go for that kind of play. I would really like to see it. It's like you were highlighting. Honestly, in the rounds that they've done it, it's usually been fairly successful for them, and it gives them a better chance than letting the T side just, again, like you were highlighting, get their executes out perfectly. And here we go. We're going to see a pushed up strat. It's not going to be the op, but it will be Kenshek's moving up through Squeaky. And DYX has a pretty good read on this, though. He is tunnel vision currently on this location. And actually, Pinzan, similar situation. So he's going to have 2 people kind of hunting in his direction. Pinzan with the instant headshot. That was dirty, dirty, dirty business, as does capitalize on the frag nonetheless. And that's a good read from the ToTheTop guys, as there has been some aggressive Squeaky plays, and they've been fairly effective previous. So what is DieDie going to go for in this last round? And quite honestly, we even advised for it. So I think ToTheTop read that really, really well, but they still have the remaining CTs to deal with, as Maydash CZ75 takes down Knight, and actually Maydash with the second flurry is going to take 1, and Rafa will secure the round. So the Squeaky push didn't work out, but at least gathered quite a bit of info, and they end up holding at A.
That's hard. That's hard for a T-side team to be 5v4 and end up losing the round to a CZ. I don't know if I have seen a CZ used so often. Brazilians use it a lot.
Yeah, we see some NA players pick it up still, but a lot more go to the 5.7 or the Tech 9, which with the $100 bonus for each weapon kill, I still think that if you can make it work with those other weaponry, getting $300 a frag is just infinitely better. But there is still players that make really good use of the CZ75, kind of tapping away. Hiko is a perfect example of someone that hasn't dropped it yet and really likes pulling it out on eco rounds.
Hiko, are you kidding me?
Right? Are you kidding me?
You giving me a kitten?
We are going to be moving into the second half of OT number 1 here. Advantage to the top guys, as they're at the 1 round advantage, moving into their CT side. And we're going to have that op on Pinzan. Looks to go for a B side pick. And he had been fairly successful there in early times on their CT half. But we do see a lot of pressure here towards A. And actually, DYX will be able to spam down Kenshek's back in that squeaky position, as we saw him for most of the half for the DieDie crew. Flurry does take 1 down, though. That was a very nice shot. He takes down Govini, or Covini, rather. They're going to work a boost up towards middle. It's an interesting play here to take some late round mid control.
He got him through the smoke without any problems at all. But Kenshek's has been really successful over at that squeaky door, and it just didn't happen for this round.
Ooh. And then Knight goes down as he peeks right as that smoke plumes. Herc finally able to get a little bit more done for the CT side. He's on 1 hit point, though, as he took down Maydash. So 3 on 3. They're going to try and approach towards the B-bomb site. Pinzan still alive and well with the AWP in hand. And, ooh, almost, not going to lie, that looked like it could have been a collateral as he took his shot, but it actually did whiff, and he goes down thereafter. DYX now in a situation where he is forced to save. So we are going to see a bit of a T-sided overtime here. Interesting stuff, as DieDie going to move up to 17, tie things up.
It's going to be, yeah, 1 more piece. If each win 1 more, obviously we're going into another OT. But good execute and a little bit of luck, maybe a little for the T side, but good execute regardless. I like that they picked A and then they went with the mid control again. Once you get mid control on this map, you can pretty much go anywhere you want. And it's another one, it's almost kind of like Mirage. Once you get that mid control, you cut off a lot of quick rotates, and it helps you out in the long run as far as executing on sites. You can't come up cat, you can't go vents. The only place they can really go is CT upper or lower. So once you get that mid control as a T side, you have a lot of options.
And again, Dix will bring... I said it. I finally did it. I finally combined all 3 letters and called him Dix. Well, it happened. Can't go back now, as DYX is what I was going to go with initially, but oh boy, that is quite funny. As I could go with Dykes instead.
Blow,
Depends how that Y works.
He's gonna blow up your Twitter, dude. He's mad at you now.
Oh, goodness. All right, well, anyhow, 17-17 as Die will bring it back at least again to the time mark. And again, if both teams hit 18-18, we're going to see another overtime coming in. So it's up to one team to pull ahead, and we'll see that Shroud boost utilized into full effect. To the top, going to put Covini up there, and they do drop an Incendiary towards Squeaky as soon as it opens. So they want to delay if it was another A-side play, but considering the bomb and a couple players are aggressing towards B, I think this is merely just a bait of sorts, trying to fake out that it is going to be an A-side execute. And it actually has pulled 3 players over, and Knight is on his way over to middle. So depending on when this execute comes in, this is actually a pretty decent look here for the T side. Oh, they've dropped a player, though. Oh, no. I did not recognize.
I was wondering where that door player went.
Right? He just kind of disappeared out of thin air. CT's wished him away. Darn. Well, that's not fun, as it is going to be a 4-on-5, but no casualties as of yet. Definitely not the time that you would want a drop to come in, as we do see Kenshek's back in the server, but enough time gone throughout the round that they can't match Medic this one. And ooh, they do take down Covini inside of that boost spot, though, and all of a sudden we got a 4-on-4, but still, DYX from the A-bomb site, he takes down 2. Herc to follow it up, and Knight to finish the round. So to the top, going to move up to 18-1 away from closing things out, and again, a little bit of fortune there, losing a player on that Die side, but to the top, they're going to take it at this point.
Their player, who was their top fragger, is their top fragger too, so even more unfortunate. But they're going to get a full buy out of here. They're going to have the AK. Kenchex maybe picks up an AK from a teammate, hopefully. Is he lagged out again? No, he's in spawn fishing around for something. I don't know what he's doing.
Look at a buy,
He doesn't
yeah.
have any nades though, which is kind of weird considering his teammate had 4,800. I don't know why he wouldn't have bought him an AK and allow Kenchex to pick up a full set of nades.
Yeah, I would completely agree with that. Bit of miscommunication there on the Die side. As once again, Kencheck's gonna head towards the squeaky door location. DYX pushed up in middle and got a lot of mid presence here on the CT side. Herc, Knight, and DYX in middle. Pinzan tasked with the solo B play, and Covini similar situation on A. And Kencheck's, he will once again open up squeaky door. Provide a little bit of noise here as Knight does move up towards, highway, and Kenchex deals with him as Knight, maybe if he had an AK, it may have went his direction, as heck, he did get the first dink in. As down to 10 hit points is Kenchex, but that is the advantage of that AK-47 one-shot headshot. DYX, we know all about that, as he does have one in his hands, and Rafa does take down Pinzan, so this is their opportunity to break into B. When does DYX strike is the question, as he's still waiting in vents, just biding his time here. He has no help from any other CT. He finally decides to go for it as Fleury. Looked like he was looking up at his direction. We do see one player, Maydash, still lurking towards actually the T side of B main. Interesting. He's not going to actually have any action, but if his team somehow isn't able to hold, he will be a wild card coming in from that location. Covini gets the first one. Herc following it up. It's going to be the 2 left here, and now it's Maydash. He has his location known as he took down DYX. It's up to Covini. He drops an Incendiary, and he is just going to stick it here. Needs to peek towards it, and Maydash does exactly that and secures the round. 18-18, overtime number 2 is going to be the solution to this problem that we're having on map number 1. Not able to get it done in overtime number 1 either.
Kenchex keeps winning those 1v1 battles over at that squeaky door too. It's almost like when Swag was playing Fry by Power, they sent him door every single round, and he's just so good at it. It's that if you feel like you're comfortable with your shot and you want to peek out, you check that forklift first, and then you check towards Cat, and you keep peeking in and out. And if you can pop people in the head, it's a great place for you to go. So he keeps picking up a lot of crucial picks, entry picks, and rotate frags right off that squeaky door.
Now moving into OT number 2. Now things swap. So Die starting on the T side, to the top starting on their CT side. And interesting to note, neither side going with an op in the first round. Very, very interesting stuff here. And actually a misspot scout in the T-spawn, so a little bit of money wasted, but 1,700, not a massive deal, but maybe it'll come into effect later on, as we can see boosting up at events. That's going to be Knight here. Oh, capitalizing on exactly that, though. We see Pinzan one that was boosting Knight up there. He goes down, but Knight able to capitalize on 2, but he's going to have another player here, Rafa, and it's actually Knight once again that picks that up. DYX onto Tatizan, and there's a very quick round, and yeah, DYX able to secure the last one in mid-warehouse as well. So first round going to the CT side, and it looked like Dada was just trying to capitalize on the fact that they were going for event boost, but boy, did that backfire.
Knight saved that round completely. If he dies there, they have full control of B in a 4v. Well, actually, was it an opening pick? I believe it was. So if he gets traded, we'll say he gets traded, right? It's a 4v3 situation with the terrorists having full bomb site B control. And B, like we said earlier, it's extremely hard to retake. So huge round by him getting that 3k, saving the round.
And now where does Dada go? Ooh, some A-main aggression here as Tatizan finds 1, but it's Kovini. Takes down 2 and secures an advantage. Kenshex does trade. So luckily he is alive and well, able to deal with that from Squeaky Door. And we got a 3-on-3 on our hands very early on here. A little bit of spam provided towards Squeaky from Herc. That does at least give his location up for the moment, but Rafa actually will head back towards middle. So it's not really going to come into play, but the boost, indeed that will, as we can see Kenshex up on the boost here. He does spot out Knight, and nice shot from him as he flicks down and secures that frag. It's Herc and Pinzan left up, and they're playing either bomb site. And this is where I kind of asked you in a situation very similar to this, if you like the one-on-one, and your response was yes, because there's an op in B. How about now with just rifles?
Not so much, but you can't really do a whole lot. You can't leave B and rotate out. If you're mid, then yes, play the 2vx situation. But in this case,
oh boy,
it's gonna happen. I mean, even if he's in B and he hides extremely well, terrorists are gonna pick him off. It's a 1v1 trade, or they should rather, and that leaves up a 2v1 situation or a potential 3v1 if he doesn't get any kills at all. So it's a hard position for him to be in. Maybe he should have played a little bit more aggressive and tried to get some info. If he can peek into B, you know, one tap possibly, and maybe get a kill and fall back into sight, maybe even it up, gets another trade, gets another kill, 1v1, I don't know. It's extremely hard, but I don't think that you can play passive and just hide in sight when you're down in a 3v2 situation or a 3v1 situation in A, or a 3v1 situation in B. If it's a 2v1, possibly, but not when you're at that many numbers. I think that you need to kind of even it out a little bit and get aggressive.
Yeah, I would have to agree. It would have to be a big mistake from the T side, which would allow for them to, or allow for that one player to go massive there. So I would agree with that.
Player has dropped. So
yeah, we lost DYX, and we do have a pause coming in because of it, and it does look like he's timed out. So I'm not 100% certain what's going on there. But again, we do have the pause coming in. So one round to either direction to start off OT number 2 here. And I would still favor that to Dai, as it is a bit of a CT-sided map. Still 8-7, but it's just that you have to highlight that because it's such a smaller sample size, I would still favor the teams that are able to get those early T rounds in, as winning out on the CT half might not be as much a challenge. But again, it does come down to the teams that you're looking into, right? So either team, I wouldn't be able to give you much of a read on it, as I've seen as much as you have, at least in this map currently. I haven't seen these guys play too much in the past. But again, we're just waiting for DYX to get in here, and then we will continue on with overtime number 2. And again, if you're just joining us, this is match number 1 of our Brazilian Open here at RGN. Again, it's a $2,000 prize pool, and it was an open format, so anybody could enter. And both these teams actually, it was a randomly seeded one, as we didn't have a lot of information to seed off of. And I feel like that may have been, maybe, especially considering these two teams were both teams that made it to that Games Academy kind of LAN event. I feel like we are seeing two teams that might even, both if they're put against maybe some lesser teams as such, might actually be able to make it to that final. So I don't know if that was necessarily randomly done, would have been the best way to do it. Nonetheless, that was exactly how it was done. So having these two teams face off, again, this is one of the better matches that I think the entire tournament might hold. But again, I don't know a ton about the Brazilian scene, so I could be in left field saying that, and there's a ton of talented lineups left to be seen. And I'm hoping that's the case, as again, we're trying to offer some more competition in that region, so we can kind of grow their scene as well, and hopefully it does exactly that. And again, we're still waiting for DYX here, and I do want to let you guys know we've got some giveaways currently going on our channel here, and I do believe at 3,000 followers on our channel, we will be giving away one second here, actually, to be honest with you. I need to pull up my beautiful giveaways here. Yeah, it's a battle scar. I actually screwed this up last time I plugged it, so that's why I wanted to bring it up. I actually called it just a battle scarred AK-47. Sounds pretty cool, right? You just want a default, like, battle scarred one. No, nonetheless, it was a battle scarred AK-47 Vulcan, or still is, and that will be given away at 3,000 followers on our Azubu channel. So if you guys haven't checked out our channel here on Azubu, again, azubu.tv/GoRGNTV is the one you're looking for. Please do come on over, create an account, and drop us a follow, as we're less than 300 followers away for that giveaway. Again, at 3,000, we'll be giving away that battle-scarred AK-47 Vulcan, and at 30 subscribers, we'll also be giving away a well-worn AWP Asmov. And I think we're currently at 17 out of 30. So again, all followers and subscribers, we really do appreciate the support. As I'm still not 100% certain what's going on with DYX here. So I think we're going to take a very short break, guys. But once DYX gets back in here, we're just going to find out what's going on and see if he is indeed on his way back. I'm sure he is, but again, we're not really certain of the timeline. So we are going to take a very short break here. But when we return, we will have the continuation here of map number 1. As they're playing 4v5, question mark? They just said Knight saying go and Flurry saying go.
Let's do it live.
Right? We'll do it live. It's a great YouTube clip. I'm not going to do the start of that because it starts off pretty filthy, but still a hilarious clip nonetheless. There we go. DYX is back, so that's what they were talking about. And they're like, all right, ready. DYX is on his way. So, remember that break we're talking about? We ain't taking it. We're going right back into things. 19-19 here as we see the ToTheTop guys buying up in the unpause underway. Rafa still with that op in his hand, and from those first 2 rounds, what are you expecting to see here, or what would you highlight coming into this round, Hale?
Rafa's getting a pick right here. Watch this.
All right, I'm watching. He is going for the B main pick, and
go!
He whiffs.
Come on, Rafa.
He whiffs. He had the perfect chance there. He does at least send a nade toward... No, that was actually some other players. Our Pins actually did eat a little bit of damage. Knight able to take down ToTheTop and DYX on 3 nades dash, but trades going back and forth. We see Rafa and Flurry last one's up as they lose their teammates towards A. And very interesting round. Knight's just going to push up, and I really don't know what happened this round. I'm not going to lie to you, but Flurry finds himself in a 1v2, and if he can catch out... Wow, I thought he was going to be able to catch out Pinzan there, but not going to be the case. 20 rounds to ToTheTop, 19 to Die. Highlight what we just saw there, Hano.
What?
You have no idea either, right?
No, like, honestly, like, I thought that he was going to get the pick because they've been playing the same setup the whole time. They send 2B, get boosted in events. So I thought that because he had the beast one with the op, he could have gotten that, and it was just a missed op shot. I think that it might have turned around a little bit more around. Yeah. So the other thing that I didn't like is that when it's a 1v2 situation and you have that much time as a terrorist, take your time and go lurk somebody, go middle, lurk around the truck. I mean, there's a lot of options that you can do instead of just saying, all right, well, all my teammates signed B, time for me to rush into B and see if I can kill a guy too. And I just think that he could have played it a lot better by playing passive. So they're gonna have to pick up 2 rounds at least. 3 will win it for Die, but first one to 22. 23? 22?
First one to 22. 22. 22?
Thank you.
22. We're going with 22 as, yeah, they started at 18, another 4 rounds on top of it. Yep, math is hard. It would be 22. As we are going to see ToTheTop working an A-side smoke strat. And quite honestly, doing the ones over the top and such, we haven't seen as much as this, as they've been more going with maybe one towards fork as they exit out. But nonetheless, they are going to go for it. Tons of mollies like we're used to seeing as... once again we see... Kenchex, I thought he had a huge opportunity there, flanking behind. First team kill does come in as Knight takes down Pinzan, but it doesn't look like it'll make a difference as Tat is in. Last one up, and he is in save mode here. Has the case of the saves. Never a fun situation. Vakir is winning around and getting more money in your economy, but currently he is not able to find that antidote.
Are you sure that Die picked this map?
They started T side, and that was, yeah, looking back on my veto page, Die picked cash. Yep.
Wow, to the top has such good strats. I mean, like it's almost like they picked the map because they have such good strats with the smokes and mollies. But we're not seeing that at a die on T side. Die on T side's mostly just going for picks. If they the spawn, go get a pick, or are they just going to send, Ken checks to door and try to work a pick there. It's just if they pick Dust 2, I'm really excited to see what they're going to pull out on Dust 2.
Yeah, we will see here if this is going to be the final round. To the top, one away. And yeah, that last round strat worked out very, very well for them, and looks like well enough that they might even go for it again here. As Herky is going to enter into A main, DYX heads out from Squeaky once again, and here we go. Smokes are all down. They're going to head into A main, and yeah, looked like it worked out well enough that they will go for it again. But DYX goes down in Squeaky immediately, so the entry frag, oh, and lots of damage done here as we saw Knight get sent to very low hit points and then walk into a Molotov. Rather an incendiary, so no picks as they head on in, and this is a good defense here from Die as need to put one on the board to continue this overtime. Pinzan now tasked with a 1v5, and that's not going to work out, so Die turns around and completely stuffs the play in the next round.
That's the difference that overtime makes, is that because you're playing 42 rounds, if a terrorist team has a really amazing A strat and it's worked out, the first 6 rounds, CTs are going to be able to counter it eventually, and because you're going into so many rounds on CT side in overtime, eventually you are going to find out how to counter that, and CTs did it perfectly right there. So the A strat's not going to work out. They got to pull something outside of their page and see.
We're going to see Rafa first frag here. Knight goes down. So nice entry here for the CT side as last round of this overtime number 2. Are we going to see the third overtime, or are we finally going to see one of these teams close it out? DYX has propped open Squeaky door. Pinzan looking into A main. Again, they're down a player at the moment, so how do they recover? That's a good way. DYX takes down Kenshek, says, again, he's working from that squeaky door position. Kenshek's trying to counter his own play there, but not able to do so, and Covini actually now allowed to come up highway, but not able to drop the player in sight. Flurry will come up with one, but DYX takes down his teammate. He's going to try and circle around the smoke. He finds one before going down, so good play by him. Creates a 2-on-2, and Maydash comes in, drops Pinzan. Herc last one to try and secure this map number 1, but we're going to see he's already on top of the bomb. Maydash, it was not planted for A main, and that's the way things are going to go. 21-21, overtime number 3 is a reality.
Well, it looks like we're going to see 4 maps almost, huh? That's crazy. Crazy. I thought the T's were actually going to be able to cover that, and they did a little bit of a slower A take, but that guy coming up highway, with that Molotov, I'm going to go back a little bit further. So as the T's were coming into the site, the CT threw a Molotov to stop the guys coming out of door, but the guy coming up highway didn't put on the brakes, the guy being the terrorist. So the pinch was door, A main, and highway. As the guy was coming up highway, the CT threw the Molotov to stop the guys coming out of door, was able to turn, pick up the guy highway, and then turn it into, he broke up their strat is what I'm trying to get at here. So again, pressing on those Molotovs, if you can hit those Molotovs in A main or door and stop that strat, you can go look elsewhere. And good play by the CTs. They're looking pretty solid over at the A site now, rather than before. They didn't look so hot. They were giving up a lot of picks, a lot of rounds. Not so much now.
Yeah, and again, that was Floyer who provided a really nice defense. Like you were saying, he found that frag near a highway and then still circled a smoke and got another one when he was very, very low. Just really smart play from him, and we'll see if they can continue there. Over at A, again, these teams will start on the side that they left off on, as overtime number 3 is now live, and looks like we're going to see a split B play. They're going to boost Maydash up into Vents. That's going to be a pretty nice point of contest, as he does take down one. Knight still on the other side of the Vents, though, and I don't know if Knight recognized that that was actually a frag from Vent, but nonetheless, we see Tatazin with 2 big ones. Pinzan finally takes down Maydash. Pinzan goes down as well, and it's up to Knight. 1v4. He does find the first. Oftentimes the hardest, but Rafa takes him down as he drops into that headshot position. Bit of a falling frag, but he'll take it as 22 now for Die. And the new number we're looking for here is 25.
I'm not sure why either team has opted to Molotov that vent player out of vents. One Molotov can cover the whole vent, and the CT player either has to throw smoke underneath his feet, which never happens, or he has to get out completely. If you get that guy out of vents, then it cuts off a huge rotate, and I'm just not sure why they're not doing it. It seems like both teams are really relying on getting that guy into vent, and as he gets vents, he can control B, and he can control mid help as well. Vent player is really important, but the setups that they're doing is a 2-on-2. If they have two guys playing in B site completely, the mid guys alone, and then terrorists give up, or the CTs will have to give up the whole mid section of the map.
DYX pushed up towards Squeaky once again, and Covini at the opposite end towards Sunroom, and yeah, just on the extremities of the map here, and Kenshags with a nice
Molotov
boost.
finally.
Yeah, we'll see that Molotov coming into play. As the CT is pretty primed here for an A-side hit if it does come on through, and it does look like currently that's going to be the name of the strategy for the round. DYX opens up Floyer, a player that we praised previously. He does go down first and foremost. Kenshags follows. Now they need a big defense from these remaining CTs, and they do find two for themselves, but now left to only Tatizin. He does find one more, so creates a 1-on-2. Find one more 1v1. It would be fantastic for him. Looks like he's going to rotate towards A main. Interesting play here, as he does have a kid, so he does have some time, but obviously that's going to cut off a decent amount, but Pinzan had no idea, and he catches him off guard. Stellar play here, and Tatizin definitely in this round. Herc's going to try and play the smoke, and he does peek out. Perfect timing with 7 hit points. Herc, what a clutch from him. Still, incredible play. Tatizin, the fact that he goes A main and catches that player off in A main off guard, some really impressive play there.
I was even surprised. I didn't think that he had enough time to do that, and he almost picked up the terrorists. I mean, maybe if the terrorists played a little bit more passive, that wouldn't have been an easy round at all for them at the end of the 1v1. Maybe if he played quad box or something and hid rather than showed himself on the left side. But I mean, regardless, yeah, beautiful play by him. Came lower A, flanked, and did some good work.
And it looks like we're going to see an A-side take here from ToTheTop. Not a big surprise, as it was fairly effective, at least in one of the rounds in the last overtime. But Floyer, actually combined with Rafa, they do take down that Squeaky player, and that was the problem with the last time. But they do find Floyer, so an entry frag. Kenshags playing towards fence here, does take down one. They're trying to plant the bomb right in front of his face as well, and allows him to get another one, but finally gets dropped. Rafa from quad, though, creates a 1v3 for Pinzan, and he can't get it done. Dai will move up to 23 here, as the first half of the third overtime of map number 1 is to a close.
I think that's going to be it. I think Dai's going to pick up 2 rounds on T side and call it a night here. I think it's going to be the end of the map.
Yeah, end of map number 1 would be the case. Guys, we got Dust 2 coming up next, as that is ToTheTop's map choice, and like you had stated earlier, it kind of seems like ToTheTop, they could have probably made an argument for picking this map, as they've had some pretty nice strategies. Again, that last round there we saw highlighted some cool A-side smokes and such, but again, moving into the second half of overtime number 3 now, ToTheTop on their CT front. Dai would love to close this out on their map choice, as again they're moving to Dust 2, which is ToTheTop's map choice. So I gotta think that they're gonna have some cool stuff up their sleeve. But now moving into, again, that second half of this third OT. We're gonna see any ops in play. It was interesting to note. I think it was the I'm probably getting them all mixed up, but I'm thinking it was the first half of OT3 where we saw no ops on the field at all. And it's going to be similar here in this round as well. Interesting to note that, yeah, neither team on these first rounds want to go with that op play.
I'm surprised because the op spawn was right up middle too, and a lot of times you'll see oppers actually come right out quickly mid, and right before that smoke pops, you can kind of peek into mid and catch a guy going to Xbox. And I don't think I've seen that at all this whole match.
We'll see Kenshags trying to aggress in the middle, but because they had a player positioned on that CT side already at vents, he was blindsided quite easily. But Knight will go down in middle, so we do see a 4-on-4 merging, and the bomb site looks to be the target, considering we got the bomb over there. That being said, they could rotate back. They got a full minute to play around with here. Maydash gathering more info inside of middle here, and if Herc peeks out wide, he does peek out fairly wide, but not necessarily enough to see that entire boost here. And from White Box, he might be able to find the timing, does exactly that. So mid-control, still to the CT front, and that will cue the B-bomb site play. Pinzan goes down. Rafa onto DYX, and this is looking like Daidai's solution to this round, at least. Seemingly so. They do get the bomb set. Herc coming from Heaven. Kovini from CT, and he does connect onto Flurry. I think I'm pronouncing that completely differently than how I started off, but nonetheless, Rafa and Tatazin now left up to try and defend here, and now it's up to Herc. 1v2, he loses his teammate at that headshot location, but fully blind here is Tatazin. He does have a kit, but it's not going to turn into a situation where he can make use of it. Daidai with their 24th round, one away now from securing map 1.
Those 2 frags in B were huge to open up that bomb site. I think that the terrorist who was sitting, I'm not sure who it was. Tata? No, it wasn't Tata. I'm not sure. I apologize. But he was playing mid, and when you play that mid, you can either go vents and try to help your teammate take B site, or you can play the lurk role and cut off the rotates completely into B site. And I think that if he played a little bit more passive and didn't peek that guy from the CT player who was also playing middle, it might have been a little bit easier for the terrorists to take B site or cut out the rotates at least. But those 2 shots, the guy that was CT and the guy that was Heaven, absolutely insane.
We're going to see some frags going back and forth here. Tatazin onto Pinzan, and it's going to be a 3-on-4. They've got control over at B. DYX still left to deal with Kenchex, and he finds his better end of the duel. This could be it. 2 players left up. They do have 2 on the T side that are very low. Kovini coming in from B main. Herc. Oh, it looks like our producer may be having an issue here, but nonetheless, I'll radio cast this, says Kovini. Going to be playing at B main, and we are going to see Rafa onto Herc. It's up to Kovini, and he's not able to secure the 1v3 as his teammate goes down. Map number 1 in the books. It is going to be Daidai picking up their map choice. And now moving on to Dust 2 to the top. It is their map selection. So guys, don't go too far. We'll be back with map number 2 here of this best of 3 in just a few.